Hello, I'm Alex. Welcome to the last part of this How to Play Dropzone Commander video series. In the last video, we went over the last building block of the mechanics, which is how commanders work. In this final video, we're going to go over how you can actually get started with the game. So Dropzone is one of the cheapest wargames you can get into at the moment. It's usually played around 1750 points, but you can scale it up or down, for that matter, quite easily. So with that in mind, let's go through some of the options for how you can actually get an army. If you and a friend want to dip your toes in together, or if you want two factions for yourself, the UCM vs Scourge 2-player starter box is the ideal place to start. At about £45 RRP, with about 600 points per side, the box gives you the basic building blocks for either army. It also comes with dice on the rulebook. The rules again are free online, but the rulebook is very nice to have. Separate to that, every army, including UCM and Scourge, both have a really good value starter army box. These boxes go for about £35 and are around about 1,000 points and will give you the basic workhorse units for whichever faction you choose. In fact, the UCM and Scourge starter armies are literally two of the two-player starter armies put together, so you probably don't need both. You can either get the starter army if you want to focus on one particular faction, or the two-player box if you just want to give it a go. After that, usually the best way to expand is to get one or both of the armour boxes. These boxes also go for about £35, with each giving a selection of units for that faction. Some units can only be got in those boxes, but even for the ones that are just combos of models you can buy elsewhere, they still save you quite a bit, usually around 50%. For any of the factions, the starter army, one armour box, and the other armour box will give you in the region of about 2,000 points of toys for around £100. From there, it's just about accessorising. You can easily pick up blister packs of any units of interest, with the price being around £10 to £15 per unit on average, I would say. Dropzone being a combined arms game doesn't really encourage or reward spamming the maximum with a really powerful unit, so unless you're trying to run either a meme or a theme list, you really can just get a little bit of everything. You can get one of that, one of that, one of that, slot in a unit for £10 and it'll add something to your collection. You'll probably find as you play games your collection will grow organically anyway. You'll, say, play a mission and you'll realise you're not winning the infantry game, so it's time to get some elite specialist close quarters infantry. Or you really wish you had a way to deal with enemy dropships, so you get yourself an interceptor. It's again very easy to grow a collection bit by bit, getting just a blister pack here and there. Now if you're not sure what is good and what isn't, and you do want to know what's worth getting, we are going to do a couple of faction focus articles on our Patreon. We're going to, for the armies that we know ourselves, we'll write them ourselves. I know how to play UCM reasonably well. For the armies we're not so familiar with, we'll probably speak to things like our local tournament winners and ask them, what do they recommend? What's the best buy for PHR? What do you really need in a Sheltari army? That sort of thing. So look out for that on our Patreon. There will be a link to it in the description below. So, being a different scale to most wargames are 28 or 32mm scale, this is 10mm. Terrain can be a bit daunting. You might realise I've got to get a whole new collection, but it's not actually as bad as it sounds and there are some easy ways to get going. TT Combat do a Cityscape set of cardboard terrain for only £30. This is surprisingly good, with light but durable buildings that will last a while if stored correctly. If you want, a bit of PVA glue or some staples can help them hold their shape and make them more rigid, or you can not do that and you can then flat pack them away between games very easily. The set also comes with some fold-out posters with roads and junctions on them, giving you an easy battlefield in a box. They also do a RuneScape version, which is the exact same idea, but a more run-down post-apocalyptic vibe, so the roads are all cracked, everything's overgrown, and so on. From there, you can of course go bigger and better. TT Combat do have a whole range of MDF buildings, which again are very varied, really add a lot to your game. They do have a range of resin buildings as well, which look fantastic. We're going to have some of those on the channel soon. And then there are third parties. Obviously, you can find all sorts of things to 3D print. There are other MDF providers. This board is by Uncertain Scenery, and it covers a full 6x4 board, looks absolutely fantastic and adds some 3D, verticality, that's it, to the game. But of course you don't need that. You can just start with just the Cityscape or RuneScape box for £30. So almost all of the Dropzone and TT Combat ranges can be bought via Firestorm games. We do have an affiliate code with them, there's a link in the description. They do offer you the normal 10% off FLGS discount, and if you buy anything via our link, we get a little kickback at no additional cost to you, which then helps fund all the stuff we do on the channel. So if you have enjoyed these videos, we would of course appreciate you using the link, but of course there's no obligation to do so. Honestly, that's about everything. There are of course some things we've not gone into. We've not covered how behemoths work. They've got a whole set of their own rules, several pages long. We've not talked about how Shaltari access works with their teleportation gates, because that's quite in depth. And of course, there are a couple of pages of universal unit and weapon special rules that we've not gone into either. But they're all fairly self-explanatory, they're all in the rulebook, and you don't need to know about them to get started. So if you do have any questions, obviously feel free to pop them down in the comments below. We're more than happy to try and answer any rules questions you have. While you're down there, if you haven't already, please remember to click the like button, hit subscribe. I know you hear this from every single YouTuber, but it really helps our channel grow. It means we can do stuff like this. It means that stuff like this will reach more people. So yeah, if you can do that, it's much appreciated. But yeah, that's basically it. We'll obviously have some more Dropzone content coming soon. We'll be running tournaments locally as well. All of that we'll let you know about as and when it comes up. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you for watching. I hope you give this game a go. It's really good fun. Goodbye.